In this lesson, we're going to take a look at the new batch render in 3ds Max. Open House Scene States Final.max. This scene is basically the same scene that we've been using throughout these lessons, but it has some scene states set up in it. We're going to use these scene states to set up a few different passes using the batch renderer. To get to the batch renderer, you go to the rendering menu and choose batch renderer. In the batch render dialog, you can choose add, and it will add a render, and you get a new render pass called view01. In this batch render dialog, you can adjust many parameters. You can change the name of it, so we'll change this one to be outdoors. You can also override the properties that are in the file, like the start and end frame and the width and height of the render. First thing that we'll do is change the camera, and we'll choose the camera exterior camera, which we'll just take a look at here. We can click here to add an output path, and we'll just save this out as a TGA file. From this drop down, we can recall scene states, so if we wanted to set the light to daylight or a nighttime setting, you could choose any scene state, as well as choosing any render presets from the presets drop down. You can continue to add passes as needed, so we'll just click to add another one, and we'll name this indoors. We'll change the camera to the camera interior, which we'll take a look at in the viewport. Click on the output path to save this render as a TGA. And we only want to render 10 frames of the interior, so we'll click on Override Presets, and we'll start at frame 30 and end at frame 40. So now we have two renders set up, one with a range from 30 to 40, and we can even change the resolution to be half resolution if we wish. We'll go ahead and change the scene state to be light day also for this, and everything gets updated in the list so that you can get a quick access to how your renders will output. We can add as many passes as we need here, and we can select any one and then duplicate it and just change one or two things about that pass. So if we wanted the same pass but we wanted to change the lighting to the night light, we could just change that scene state, rename it indoors night, uncheck override preset so it respects the defaults of the render, and we'll add one more that we want to render the exterior camera. We'll have this be a exterior with only trees. If we decide we don't want that, we can just click on it and delete it. We can also check to net render, and we can export a batch file that we can use with any other renderer in Max. So this is the new batch renderer that allows you to output a lot of different render states and scene states to optimize your workflow and rendering output.